How's it going, anime lovers? Hope you're having an amazing day. And if not, that's about to change because I've got something very special for you. With this decade coming to an end, today we'll be looking at some of the best and most impactful anime fights we've witnessed throughout the past 10 years. So get cozy and prepare yourself. Let's go! We start off with one of the most iconic fights from the Dragon Ball franchise, Goku vs Jiren. Obviously, this list wouldn't be complete without Dragon Ball in it now, would it? Despite what the artsy and selective anime fan may tell you, creating a shonen battle is a form of art. Having said that, Goku vs Jiren's easily one of the flashiest fights in Dragon Ball history. When the two finally clash, Goku's outmatched big time. Jiren surprises Goku by turning his Spirit Bomb against him, and just as things look over, Goku miraculously unlocks his most powerful transformation yet, the Ultra Instinct. Surprisingly though, Jiren defeats Goku effortlessly, and thankfully the rematch isn't that far away. After all, it's the fate of the universe kind of shit that we're talking about that's on the line, so Goku finally masters Ultra Instinct. Overall, this fight made me feel like a kid again. I got flashbacks of when I saw Goku vs Frieza for the first time in DBZ. This has to be one of the coolest, memorable, and inspiring fights in all of Dragon Ball that won't be forgotten anytime soon. Next, it's Jotaro vs Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. As for this being JoJo's #1 fight, hardcore fans might put this on their own list of best fights in anime because it's a pure mix of brain, brawn, and balls to the walls. After emerging from the shadows, Dio's back, but this time with his OP stand ability, the World, which can freeze time minimally, but enough to do some maximum damage. The fight goes all around the streets of Cairo, causing mayhem. They push each other to the brink, and it eventually comes down to wits. In one instance, when Jotaro's knocked down from a knife attack, he purposely stops his heart from beating just to play possum, and throws a devastating sucker punch before Dio can freeze time. Just when you think it's all over though, Dio finds a way to come back. Eventually, he lets himself get knocked around back to Joseph's body to absorb his blood to go full power. But that's not enough to stop my boy Jotaro as he angrily shatters Dio's body to pieces by stopping his roundhouse kick with a devastating overhand right swing. At 8, we have arguably the best fight from One Piece yet, Luffy vs Katakuri. Now, I know a lot of people had some doubts around One Piece following its time skip, but there's no arguing the awesomeness in the fight between Luffy and the sweet commander Katakuri. This is definitely one of the major highlights of the series as a whole and a major upset for the latter half of the series. As Luffy tries to rescue Sanji from Whole Cake Island, he comes face to face with someone he deems his greatest test for advancing as a pirate, Charlotte Katakuri, whose abilities are similar to Luffy's, but more powerful in every regard. During the fight, they begin respecting each other and develop as people and fighters. It's an amazing fight in the manga, and the great animation in the anime is definitely worth any fan going out of their way to see, just like all the others on this list. At number 5, we have Ichigo vs Ulquiorra. Ichigo's long-running rivalry with the emotionless Ulquiorra finally comes to an end in dramatic, over-the-top fashion, just the way we like it. Ulquiorra has proven to be one of Ichigo's toughest opponents. The audience was put in real suspense when Ulquiorra landed a successful Cero Oscuras on Ichigo, but Ulquiorra had no idea he'd just signed his own death sentence with the attack by helping Ichigo take on his newest, powerful and terrifying hollow form. This is the moment when the two swap places, with Ichigo's new form revealing his deep demonic nature and Ulquiorra's first experience with fear proving that he's just as flawed as the humans he looks on from above. The fight is epic, seeing how faster and unpredictable Ichigo is compared to Ulquiorra when he's transformed, making it a living hell for him. The next fight's from a series known for its amazing fights. Yes, it's Kiritsugu vs Kirei from Fate Zero. Most people think major climatic anime fights must have over-the-top crazy action full of destructive attacks, big speeches and loads of screaming, leaving little room for originality. It's rare that the fight only contains 2 total hits and no dialogue, but still remains compelling and interesting. This one achieves just that. 2 of the most important characters in the Fate series, Kirei and Kiritsugu, battle it out as foils, 2 people cut from the same cloth. Pragmatic monsters who are beyond right or wrong in their personal crusades. Now, fluid fight choreography and brilliant strategizing highlight the rather short confrontation between 2 people who are essentially the same, which you can see in their exchanges. Despite being this badass mage killer who doesn't give a damn about fighting clean and honorably, Kiritsugu finds his match in the priest, who acts as a wall that he can't overcome. But overall, the fight's amazing, and personally, this is my favorite fight from the Fate franchise. Next on the list, it's Naruto vs Sasuke. Of course, this list wouldn't be complete without the fans' favorite frenemies, Naruto and Sasuke. These 2 have been close friends, rivals, and to some extent, enemies as well. Their fight starts in the Final Valley, where they exchange their ideas and beliefs about the world. Sasuke wants to start a revolution by killing 5 Kages in charge of the 5 hidden villages. Naruto, of course, disagrees and tells him he's taking the wrong path. Seeing 2 close friends fight with everything they have, throwing their most powerful jutsus at one another was heart-crushing, but we knew it was only a matter of time before this happened anyway. This fight was amazingly well choreographed, and those flashbacks really made us all emotional. In the end, Sasuke's Chidori and Naruto's Rasengan collided, resulting in a big explosion, causing both of them to lose a hand. Lying down on the ground, Sasuke admits defeat. Even after all of Sasuke's shit, Naruto still wasn't willing to give up on him. That's what real friends do, and thankfully, Sasuke acknowledged that. For those who haven't seen Gintama, you're probably surprised to see this fight so high on the list, but for me personally, this is one of my favorite fights in all of anime. That's right, peeps, Gintama's a lot more than just a comedy anime. This fight's raw and bloody. Just what you'd expect from a great samurai versus samurai fight. We finally get Takasugi's point of view, who's not so different from Gintoki after all, but just a victim of tragic circumstance. As shown in their backstory, they've actually almost fought each other 500 times. They head towards each other screaming, leaving aside tactic or strategy. They know each other inside out, their fighting styles, weaknesses, what they're capable of. Both have been waiting for this moment for years, and when they finally meet, they're left with nothing else to do but unleashing the rage they've been honing in all these years. They're evenly matched. Every kick and punch thrown is immediately returned to the other. When Takasugi stabs Gintoki, then Gintoki stabs Takasugi, it's something like a mirrored PvP match where you fight your twin brother or something like that. And at number 1, we have, without a doubt, one of the best fights in the Hunter x Hunter anime and anime in general. It's Netero vs Meruem. A fight that's even hyped more by the epic soundtrack and the awesome narrator delivering an epic showdown between Netero and the Chimera Ant King Meruem. Leaving aside the incredibly crisp and amazing animation in the fight itself, more importantly, this is about the ideological conflict and what it means to be a human. Meruem's probably my favorite anime villain of all time. He's a complex character that initially starts as your typical cruel and violent dictator that considers himself superior to all other forms of life. He felt no concern for his dying mother after his birth, and he only shows respect towards the strong and has no empathy towards humans, viewing them as nothing but a source of food. Later on, however, after meeting Komugi, Meruem started to question the differences between ants and mankind and battled with his identity as half human and half insect, questioning the nature of violence and strength as true power. On the opposite corner stands Netero, fighting to save humanity from extinction. That and, well, because he really just likes a good old fight, Netero dedicated his life to martial arts. Similarly to the king, he displayed a great deal of pride when it comes to his own abilities. His goal in life is to find a worthy adversary that he can fight with his whole spirit. They both admire and acknowledge each other as worthy opponents, though it looks like the fight could go either way with no clear indication who's ultimately going to win. Soon enough, we see that the king sees holes in Netero's patterns, taking advantage of them to get through the hands of his stand. I mean, Bodhisattva. Netero's mistake initially costs him his right leg, but the old man continues to fight, brushing it off like no big deal, calling it just a lucky punch. After that, if this old man isn't the biggest badass in the show, then I don't know who is. The king's physical superiority against Netero's superior will is like a battle between an unstoppable force and an immovable object. In the end, it seems that the king got the best of him, and just as we think this at the end, Netero reveals that he had a final trick up his sleeve. The miniature rose, his final trump card that he uses symbolically, unleashing his deeply buried menace within his heart to nuke the whole goddamn field along with Meruem. So, which is your favorite anime fight of this decade? Comment below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more badass videos like this one, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the next ones. I'll see you next time on BiniTube.